Chapter News the Christmas Shopping. In my first edition of Deals on Wheels, this chapter told of how I bought my wife a Christmas present. That present was a mobile home lot, and the note on the mobile home that was, and still is, on that lot. The same tenants are still there and is still paying rent. The note has been paid off, but Joan still gets the monthly rent checks for the lot, and probably will for the rest of her life. I'm leaving the original version in this edition, so that you can see just what we've been able to do with a mobile home lot, and a mobile home note. I think it's important that you understand the long-term benefits of renting the lots, and selling the homes. Joan has now enjoyed years of monthly income, with absolutely no rental problems. And the rent has been increased every year. Also, there have been no problems with the mobile home because the tenant owns it. Joan just owned the note, secured by the mobile home. Original version. As I write this, it's the middle of December, and everyone is busy doing their Christmas shopping. My wife has been in every store and shopping mall for miles around, and regardless of how many packages she brings home, she still hasn't brought that last one home, yet. There's always one more to get. I'd rather dig a ditch than go in a store to shop for something, and up until yesterday I had made no attempt whatsoever to do any shopping. I could sense that Joan was getting a little concerned and was probably wondering if, and when, I would get around to buying her a Christmas gift. Well, yesterday I went Christmas shopping and bought Joan a nice present. I bought her a mobile home lot, and a mobile home note. Let me share my shopping day with you and explain how I went up buying this particular present. Hey guys, if you're having trouble getting your wife interested in this mobile home stuff, put the next mobile home deal in her name, and have the buyer make out the check to her. Works every time. About 6 months ago, I called on an ad for a mobile home lot for sale. This lot is located in a nice park with almost devised space. When this park was developed many years ago, the first mobile home owners were given a choice of renting the lot, or purchasing the lot. About a third of the lots were purchased by private owners, and the rest are still owned by a corporation. This is a condominium park and one of the few parks that I know of where you can buy an individual lot. The average size of these lots is Chelua Panjik Sada feet, and the going price for each lot is between Hijdehizar and Bistehizar. The city tax assessment is Hifadehizar each. When I first called on this at about 6 months ago, I learned that the seller had also owned, and lived, in the mobile home. When she sold the mobile home, she couldn't find a cash buyer. Sound familiar? So she was forced to carry a note for most of the purchase price. Her note stated that the buyer could not move the home off the lot until it was paid for, and there were still Panjovayik payments remaining. She kept the lot and was renting it to her buyer. Keep a file of seller's ads. When I first called the seller, her asking price for the lot was Shanzadahizar. It was more than I was willing to pay, but I cut that out and taped it to a file card and kept it. When I first talked to this lady, I learned that she also owned the note on the mobile home. I asked her if she would be willing to sell the note, also. She said she didn't even know it could be sold, and had never thought about it. I advised her that it could be sold, but she would probably have to offer a discount in order to sell it. So our contract states that she is selling us the lot for Yazdehizar, which means she will only have to show a sat gain on the lot. That will leave Shishahizar as the price we're paying for a note. Suppose if we had stated a price of Chardehizar for the lot. She would then have a gain of Sehizar that she would be taxed on. I really that by showing a lower price for the lot, that if and when we sell that lot we will have a smaller basis and will probably have to pay more taxes than we would if we had placed a higher purchase price on the lot. But our intention is to keep that lot for a long time, probably for life. The present net income from the lot is Sado Hafta the Dout Sifra per month, so our return is much less than what we normally get from a mobile home sale. But as I said earlier, once your cash flow builds up to where you don't need it all for mobile homes, put some of it into long-term, trouble-free investments. This is the first mobile home lot we've owned, but I just know it's going to be easier to manage dirt than it is a house with a tenant living in it. What can go wrong with dirt? So far we haven't found a tenant that has figured out how to destroy dirt, and none of it has disappeared. Regardless of what our basis is in the lot, we still have to pay tax on all of the rental income, minus any taxes and expenses. We can't depreciate land, but by keeping it long-term the basis isn't a big concern, especially since we can show we pay Shishizar for the note. By showing a higher price for the note, we don't have as much discount in the note, and the less discount, the less taxable income we pay. When you purchase a note at discount, the IRS treats the discount portion of that note as taxable income. When we got through with the paperwork, this lady said, "You were the one that first asked me about selling the note. I didn't know until then I could sell it." And she thanked me for volunteering that information. I should be thanking her, and I am. How did we come out on this deal? Now, let's go over this transaction and see what we might expect in the future. If nothing changes, we will receive $185 per month for the next 5 months from the mobile home payments. And the home can't be moved off the lot until it's paid for. If she takes that long to pay the note off, that means we have a bestow sid asset yield on the shishas or purchase price for that note. Check or chart. How note was structured. Or purchase a price a yield. But what if she decides to pay it off early? If she does, that will increase our yield. In fact, would it be better for us if she decided to pay that home off and then move it, leaving us with a vacant lot? You think it would, and here's why. Suppose that home was paid off and moved off the lot next month. If that should happen, we will have received over $50,000 on our $6,000 note that we've owned for only a month, or so that would then leave us with about $10,000 invested in a lot worth $20,000. We could then find a nice used home, place it on the lot, and sell it with financing like we've discussed. In all probability, we would wind up with a bigger cash flow and a bigger L on our money. Now, suppose this lady doesn't pay us and we have to repossess the home. Would that be bad? If that should happen, we would then have a nice home that's worth much more than what we have invested. We would then just sell the home, finance it, and have a larger monthly payment and a larger note than we have now. Any change will be for the better. It looks like any change that might take place in the future will be a change for the better. I think this deal is as bad now as it will ever be, and will only get better with any kind of change. A net income of $185 per month on the lot gives us a yield of about $10,000, and we will have our $10,000 back in a little over 5 years. From then on, everything will be profit. But hopefully, the lot rent will increase before 5 years is up. If so, we will have our money back sooner. Update: a lot rent is now $285 and rising. While talking with her, I found out all I could about her situation, why she wanted to sell, how flexible she might be, how soon she needed the money, and if she needed all of it now. I learned everything it could for future reference. I put all this information, and a copy of the ad, on a card file and kept it. Remember, I said earlier to keep track of old ads and watch for them to pop up again somewhere in the future. And if they do, compare the old ads to the new ads. Well, that had appeared in the paper again about a week ago, and ran just for the weekend. This time the ad read, "Mobile home lot for sale. 4 year occupancy guaranteed," and her phone number. The following weekend, another ad appeared, but this time it read, "Mobile home lot and or mobile home note for sale. Make offer." When I called the seller this time, she told me that she had a verbal offer of $10,000 for the lot and the note. I asked her to bring all the papers she had on both the lot and note, and meet me at the lot. After meeting with her, we then went to a little neighborhood restaurant and started negotiating. When I was satisfied that everything was in order, I asked her would she be willing to sell the lot and note for if I drew up a contract and paid a deposit right then. She made the statement again that she already had an offer for $10,000 and wanted to know what I was willing to pay. I explained to her that all she had at this point was a verbal offer with no written contract and no deposit. I reminded her that sometimes people don't always do what they say they will. But if we could reach an agreement, I would put it in writing, pay a deposit, and she would know it was sold. Then she wouldn't have to wonder if she would get paid. There were now payments of $185 remaining on the note, at $10,000 interest, and a remaining principal balance of $50,000. The lot rent was $185 per month. The real estate taxes were $20 per month, so the lot was netting $185 per month. Written offers get results. She still wouldn't name a lower figure, so I finally asked her, "Would you take $50,000 right now if I sign a contract and give you a deposit?" After some serious thinking on her part, she said she would. So I drew up 2 contracts, one for the note, and one for the lot. We signed both, and I left her sat deposit on each contract. Now, here's a point I'd like to emphasize. If you negotiate a deal to the point where you feel it's about as good as it's going to get, and you know it's a good deal, make out a written contract with a deposit. Don't get greedy and try to squeeze the last dollar out of a deal. Remember, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. The difference in me getting the lot and note, and the other party not getting it, was because I was willing to make a firm written offer, with a deposit. Obviously, the other party wasn't willing to do that. I'm sure this lady was thinking, should I take the his written offer and deposit, and be sure it's sold, or should I take a chance and hope the other party will pay his? I'm glad she made a wise choice. Once she agreed to accept my offer of his, we then had to decide what price to put on the lot and what price to put on the note. I already knew she had paid his for the lot 5 years before. She didn't know that I knew this, but I had already checked the records at City Hall. I said earlier to find out everything you can so you will be in a better negotiating position. When we were trying to figure out what price to put on the lot and what price to put on the home, I explained to her that if we had a closing date in January instead of December, this was early December, any tax she would have to pay could be put off until the following year. I wanted to keep her from paying any more taxes than she would need to pay in that year. Also, if the closing takes place in January, we already have a payment due from both the lot and the note. This lot will provide us with a nice little check every month for as long as we want to own it, and if and when we should decide to sell this lot, we would probably finance it and still have a monthly check coming in. This lot will most likely provide us with a check for the rest of our lives. A nice, safe long-term investment, with little or no management problems. I love being able to do a little work one time, and receive benefits for many years, without having to do any more work. This is a good example of how to do that. Maybe now you can understand why I said if I owned a mobile home park, there wouldn't be any homes on the lots except the ones I placed there. Why let a dealer make the profit from the sale, and a bank make the profit from the financing? The profit from both should go in your pocket. So folks, what do you think of my Christmas shopping trip? I told you at the beginning of this book of another Christmas shopping trip we did, where we bought a mobile home on Christmas Eve and sold it on New Year's Eve. I've found out that from around Christmas time to April Pons Day, tax time, is one of the best times of the year to shop for mobile homes, lots, houses, notes and many other things. That's when you will have very little competition, because most investors are not in the mood to be looking for deals. Many of them have spent their money on Christmas gifts and toys and can't take advantage of a good opportunity if it falls in their lap. So be alert for bargains when other people are not. And be ready to jump on a good deal when it comes along. John probably had visions of some nice jewelry or clothes for Christmas. But I explained it to her that she would be getting a check every month from the note, and a check from the lot for many years to come. And 2, it really wasn't safe nowadays to walk around wearing a bunch of jewelry anyway. When those checks started coming in, she agreed with me. When I give a gift, I like for it to keep on giving. Wonder how many other Christmas shoppers will even remember what they gave, or received, several months after Christmas. Jonna will be reminded of her gift every month with a check. Wonder how many wives that read this chapter will now be giving their husbands a different kind of shopping list. When you're really committed to something, you won't accept any excuse.